Have you ever felt like you were standing on the edge of a vast ocean, gazing at endless possibilities, yet paralyzed by the fear of dipping even a single toe into the water? Many of us experience moments, or even entire seasons, of life where self-doubt acts like an invisible chain, holding us back from pursuing our dreams, speaking our minds, or truly embracing our potential. It's a feeling that can be incredibly isolating, making us believe we are alone in our struggles. But what if I told you that the secret weapon to unlocking success, the very key to transforming those fears into stepping stones, lies within you? It's called self-confidence. And it's not an innate gift, but a muscle that can be developed and strengthened. Let me tell you a story about a young man named Alex. Alex was a brilliant mind, full of innovative ideas, but he lived under the shadow of his own shyness. He avoided eye contact, spoke in hushed tones, and often found himself retreating from social interactions. His heart would pound at the mere thought of speaking in front of a group, even a small one. He had big dreams for his community, envisioning a cleaner park, a more engaging youth program. But the idea of presenting these ideas publicly filled him with dread. He felt invisible, unheard, and increasingly frustrated by his own inability to step forward. He longed to make a difference, yet his lack of self-confidence kept him firmly rooted in the background, a silent observer of life passing him by. One day, the local community announced a Bright Future initiative, inviting residents to propose solutions for improving their town. Alex saw this as his chance, but the familiar wave of anxiety washed over him. He started drafting his ideas, brilliant and well-researched, but the thought of standing on that stage, facing an audience, felt insurmountable. He almost gave up, telling himself it wasn't worth the inevitable discomfort. He believed that confidence was something others were simply born with, a trait he tragically lacked. He saw successful people as fearless, bold, and entirely different from himself. As a result, Alex found himself spending hours at the local library, not just researching his project but also poring over books on public speaking and personal development. It was there he met Mrs. Elena, a kind, elderly librarian with wise eyes and a gentle smile. She had noticed Alex's quiet intensity and his struggle. One afternoon, she approached him, offering a cup of tea and a listening ear. Alex uncharacteristically found himself confiding in her, sharing his brilliant ideas and his paralyzing fear. He explained how he felt inadequate, how his voice would tremble, and how he believed he simply wasn't confident enough to make a difference. Mrs. Elena listened patiently, then offered him a simple yet profound piece of advice. "Alex," she said, "confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build brick by brick through action. It's not about eradicating fear, but about acting in spite of it." She told him to start small. "Imagine your presentation," she suggested, "but first present it to just me. Then next time to me and one other person. Gradually you will expand your circle." Alex was skeptical, but Mrs. Elena's calm demeanor was infectious. He decided to try. He began practicing with Mrs. Elena, his voice shaky at first, his gaze fixed on the floor. She never criticized, only encouraged. She helped him focus on his passion for the project, reminding him that his ideas held value regardless of how perfectly they were delivered. Eventually, he could look her in the eye. The next time, Mrs. Elena invited her assistant, Mr. Henderson, to listen. Alex's heart still raced, but he managed to get through his presentation, stumbling only a few times. Each small victory, each moment he pushed past his comfort zone, added a tiny brick to his confidence. He started practicing in front of a mirror, watching his gestures, listening to his tone. He learned that preparation was a powerful antidote to fear. He began to understand that confidence wasn't about being perfectly poised or knowing every answer. It was about believing in his message and being willing to share it, even with imperfections. He realized that the most successful people weren't necessarily the most naturally confident, but those who consistently put themselves out there, learning and growing from every experience. He saw that every time he chose courage over comfort, he was not only building his confidence, but also inspiring others around him. His interactions at the library grew bolder, his voice steadier. He started asking questions, engaging in small talk, and even sharing his opinions on local news. The day of the Bright Future initiative arrived. Alex stood backstage, his palms sweaty, his heart a drum against his ribs. The familiar wave of panic threatened to engulf him. But then he remembered Mrs. Elena's words, "Act in spite of it." He took a deep breath, focused on his passion for his ideas, and walked onto the stage. The lights were bright, the faces in the audience blurred into a sea of unknowns. For a moment he faltered, but then he looked at the back of the room, picked out a friendly face, and began to speak. His voice was clear, passionate, and filled with conviction. He presented his ideas with a newfound strength, his gestures natural, his eyes connecting with various members of the audience. He wasn't perfect. He stumbled on a word or two, but he recovered seamlessly. He spoke from the heart, sharing his vision for a better community. When he finished, there was a round of enthusiastic applause. He had done it. He hadn't just presented his ideas, he had conquered a part of himself. As a result, his project was selected, bringing his vision to life and significantly improving the town. From that day forward, Alex's life transformed. He continued to face challenges, but he approached them with a new mindset. He understood that self-confidence wasn't a destination but a continuous journey of small acts of courage. He became an active and respected voice in his community, always willing to share his ideas and inspire others. He learned that the secret weapon wasn't magic, but consistent effort and a belief in the power of taking that first brave step. So the next time you feel that familiar tug of self-doubt, remember Alex's journey. Remember that every successful person you admire has faced their own fears and built their confidence, one step at a time. Take that small action, speak that truth, pursue that dream. As Eleanor Roosevelt wisely said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And as the great Henry Ford once declared, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your potential is limitless once you unlock the power of your own belief. If this story resonated with you, please give this video a like and share your own experiences in the comments below. What's one small step you're going to take today to build your self-confidence? Let's inspire each other to step off the edge and into the vast ocean of possibilities that awaits us all.